there, the roar of the water coming down, that's Dunn's Creek, and there's multiple waterfalls, and as the Cherokee call one of the chattering children.
And you certainly hear it chattering.
And it's running down into the French Broad, and you see all this farmland that's a way of life. It provides a way to grow food and sustain their families. And I'll bet you somewhere in the time some of our ancestors probably looked at all this water and just had the thought, well, just whose water is it anyway?
Wonderful question. And the conference is hoping to help us all understand a broader perspective of that wonderful resource. But the water does define who we are. From here, the chattering children, it's of course our rainfall that creates the land of waterfalls.
Well, we're here at the Cathy's Creek water treatment plant, right on Cathy's Creek. We get our water from the Cathy's Creek watershed, which is almost entirely in the National Forest. So the water is fairly clean when we get it, but it's still required to treat to public safety and health standards. Cathy's Creek during low flow periods will provide about 1 million gallons per day. This treatment plant will treat about 2.6 million gallons per day. So in extremely dry periods, we could be challenged to meet the demands of the city. Right now, the daily water demand of the city is about 1 million gallons per day. We easily supply that. As we grow and as time goes on, we almost certainly will need additional water, and Cathy's Creek may not provide that. That's why right now we're considering the French Broad River as the next water source for the city. Without adequate water for the various uses that occur in the city, residential, restaurants, commercial, light industry for us, then certain opportunities that may come our way, light industry that would bring employment for people, we would not be able to supply. That's why it's important for us to be planning for a future water source.
So here on our farm we have about 2 miles of riverfront. We've installed exclusion fencing so none of our cattle water in the river. Tried to reduce our impact from farming right here on the along the river valley. As you can see, the cattle are fat and happy down here, and we utilize and depend on the ample sources of water that we have here. And it's somewhat of a responsibility, liability farming in the river valley because we have to deal with pretty severe flooding on a regular basis. So we've established sod. That's one reason that we do livestock here, because this holds the ground better than, say, if we were doing crops and doing tillage of this. So water is a resource that is important to all of us, from me as a producer to my livestock. These cows with their calves, they'll consume upwards of 15 gallons of water a day. But that's a lot of need that we have, as well as consumers that are downriver from me, homeowners. We all have particular needs and capacities which we use water for. And so it's important for all of us to have this conversation about how to ensure that we all, get what we need from it, since it's an abundant resource here, and also how we're caring for the greater good and providing that everyone's needs are met in terms of water usage.
Transylvania Soil and Water Conservation District's mission is to promote, enhance, conserve the natural resources of the county, and one of the major ones is our water resources. And in addition to removing debris jams like this one behind me here for recreation, but also helps reduce sedimentation of our waters. We do a lot of stream protection systems, fencing cattle out of the streams and providing them alternate drinking sources. We do riparian enhancement, where we plant native species along our water courses in addition to stream bank stabilization.
All right, so Dave, why is the water of Transylvania County important to Oscar Blues Brewery?
Well, the water of Transylvania County drives Oscar Blues Brewery. Our product is making beer, and beer is mostly water. The minerals found in the local water are essential to the fermentation process and is what makes our beer so awesome. As a brewer, we also appreciate the local water for more than just the beer. As with many local people here, we spend hours on native streams and rivers, and as a brewery, we want to be very environmentally responsible for this ecosystem. It's awesome that we can say that 91% of Adale's Pale Ale came from Cathy's Creek, which is fed from the Pisgah National Forest. Dale, our owner, he opened his second brewery here because how beautiful Transylvania County is. So we feel that we would like to protect both the water that makes our livelihoods, as well as protect our neighbors' livelihoods and our lifestyles, because it's a beautiful place.
And I love what you've done to the water here. Cheers.
Cheers.